Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today is July 17th, 2026, and the AI revolution? Yeah, it's officially and violently transitioned from just industry hype to massive real-world impact. We are looking at a tech landscape where the aftershocks of artificial intelligence are literally rewiring everything. We're talking tightening corporate budgets all the way to entirely new international treaties. We've got a lot of really vital ground to cover today, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Minus 25%. That staggering number right there represents IBM's historic single-day stock crash from just this past Monday. Just let that sink in for a second. That is their absolute worst single-day drop in their entire 115-year history. No way, right? So why did a titan of the tech industry suddenly lose a quarter of its value overnight?
Section 1. The Enterprise AI Hardware Shift, the SaaS Apocalypse.
Well, IBM's CEO Arvind Krishna actually came out and plainly admitted the harsh reality here. Enterprise clients are aggressively reallocating their dollars just to survive this AI wave. Basically, companies are in full panic mode. They're desperately stockpiling servers, memory, and storage ahead of anticipated AI-driven price hikes. And how exactly are they affording this massive hardware binge? They're freezing traditional software and consulting deals. Capital is flowing straight out of legacy software subscriptions and pouring directly into physical hardware.
A huge driver of this software freeze is actually Anthropic's Mythos AI. Clients are literally pausing millions of dollars in new cybersecurity software deals simply so they can evaluate these cutting-edge AI-native alternatives. This hesitation is creating a massive gap where legacy tech revenue just plummets. But, on the flip side of that exact same coin, institutions that are capitalizing on the AI era are absolutely booming. Look at JP Morgan. They just posted a record $21.2 billion quarterly profit. That's the highest for any bank in U.S. history, and it's directly fueled by their rapid AI integrations.
Section 2. Global AI Geopolitical Divide, China's Parallel Ecosystem.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the AI hardware race is completely fracturing the geopolitical board. At the World AI Conference in Shanghai, Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered a keynote where he called AI a symphony of global cooperation. Impartially speaking, this was a clear, direct reference to U.S. export controls. He was warning against overstretching national security concerns and instead pushing for a shared global AI effort.
And there's some very concrete action behind that vision. Just the day before the keynote, 29 nations signed the Waco Treaty, which essentially anchors a parallel AI governance track headquartered right there in Shanghai. At the exact same time, Huawei publicly unveiled their Atlas 950 SuperPod. So the takeaway here is pretty stark. Despite intense U.S. chip export controls, China is rapidly advancing its domestic hardware ecosystem completely independently of the U.S. framework. We are literally watching two entirely separate technological worlds take shape.
Section 3. The friction of AI disruption. Rapid growth, real problems.
Scaling this technology globally isn't exactly happening without some intense growing pains. Just look at this highly provocative headline from a widely circulated Atlantic essay. Generative AI is an engineering disaster. The piece essentially argues that AI-generated code is flooding systems with plausible but poorly understood programming. This is quietly creating massive technical debt. It's essentially a ticking time bomb of code errors at a speed that human teams just simply cannot audit or control.
And we're seeing these friction points across the entire tech landscape, both digital and physical. Over in software, Google just launched Gemini 3.5 Pro with a massive 2 million token context window. But that was only after they had to rebuild it entirely from scratch following that major failure back in June. In the physical realm, industry groups in New York are currently suing over a one-year moratorium on new hyperscale data center construction. The friction even extends into space. SpaceX's recent Starship abort is actually delaying their orbital data center ambitions. And in security, the White House just launched the Gold Eagle program to urgently coordinate real-time AI threat responses. The bottleneck is literally everywhere you look.
Section 4. Industry Expansion and Acceleration, AI in the Physical World.
And this brilliantly illustrates how next-gen tech is aggressively pushing into physical sectors, despite all those massive hurdles. In healthcare, CVS and Google have formed this huge data alliance focused heavily on preventative care. In the automotive space, Rivian has raised its delivery forecasts, and that's largely driven by the momentum from their R2 SUV launch. In robotics, Aptronic is literally feeding real-world movement data directly into Google DeepMind's Gemini. And finally, Helsing AI is expanding its defense systems straight into commercial markets after a staggering $1.8 billion raise. AI isn't just a chatbot on a screen anymore, you guys. It is driving cars, it's moving robot arms, and it's operating defense networks.
So what's on the immediate horizon for us to watch? Well, on July 22nd, the market's going to be watching very closely to see if IBM revises its full-year guidance as the software bear case really takes hold. Crucially for developers, July 24th is the absolute hard deadline for DeepSeek's v4 API migration. Legacy model aliases retire that exact day, acting as a real forcing function while the company weighs new funding and eyes a 2027 IPO. And looking up, NASA's $4.3 billion Roman Space Telescope remains perfectly on track for an August 30th launch.
The crucial takeaway for us today is this. We are moving incredibly fast, and the landscape is shifting on a daily basis, which leaves us with a vital question to ponder. Are companies truly prepared for the physical, financial, and geopolitical costs of the AI era? It's arguably the absolute most important question of 2026, and the answer to it is going to define the entire next decade of technology. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep questioning what comes next.